John Lemon, man.
John Lemon.
John Lemon, Paul McCarthy, Ringo Moon.
This is the Swine Before Pearls podcast with Joel and Trent.
That doesn't sound
Try
very
and
pig-like.
swallow your mic. It's Pig Show.
Welcome to Pig Show. What episode is this?
This is episode, I don't care. We're just doing it.
This is episode
50,
70.
80.
100.
90.
Congratulations, we made it to 100 episodes. Thanks for all of our fans who've stuck with
guys,
us.
you
through
can
thick
find
and
our
thin.
merch online at pigshow.com.
Pigshow.com/merch.
Dude, if we could make merch, what would it be, in your opinion? Here's the thing. Podcasts, I feel like they have really crappy merch, and they're like, here's our generic T-shirt that we printed out. And
With
we're
just
selling
our logo on
with
it?
our logo. And
But
we have a sweet logo, and I'm not
our logo is
dissing our
hot.
logo. Our logo is very hot. But what is some interesting merch we could do that's just out of the box?
Just the cover of Babe.
So guys, we have right here on sale for $10.
It's literally like our merch is just like a T-shirt, like a white T-shirt with a VHS copy of Babe taped
Just
onto it.
breathe on that.
Oh, yo, I'll do more than that.
Okay,
We'll give her a
so
little
you
kiss.
have personalized Babe. Call now, order now. It's going away, folks. You know,
Yeah,
if your grandma's looking for a good Thanksgiving, wholesome family entertainment, Babe. There's no nudity. There's no sex. It's just Babe.
You know what else has no nudity or sex?
What?
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, it has some other edgy topics, but I don't think sex and nudity are among them.
How can you describe? I mean, I guess you can put nudity in the song.
Yeah.
You can be like, "There's
yo.
a naked person."
I'm pretty sure like Jason Derulo's whole discography
It's just nudity.
is about nudity.
We should do a review on his stuff.
I mean, we can. We've broken the barriers of what's allowed.
I think we can do anything at this point.
Ooh, anything.
The world is our keister.
Yeah, I was talking to my coworker about maybe doing like a breakdown of Friday by Rebecca Black.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We could do that right now and right here, but we're on a different topic. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Peppers.
Sgt. Pepper's Peppers Band.
Yeah, it's the Beatles, man.
It's the Beatles.
It's the Beatles. I can't say anything negative. I can't say anything,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything for the whole podcast. So,
You got some negative stuff to say?
no. I can't say anything. It's the Beatles. It's
I
already
think all-
decided. Who cares
I think all
about
their
my
stands are dead.
Who cares about my There's like a 70-year-old dude just like I don't know what you guys are talking about, but the Beatles.
Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine people would get there'd probably be people who get mad if we talk too much crap about this.
You know what's funny though?
What's that?
I do know a huge Beatles fan, and
Oh,
it's
yeah?
Jack.
Jack.
And
I hate this album.
yeah, and anything
I despise
say,
you, Jack.
anything I say is going to be like probably highly scrutinized by him because he's put way more time and effort into learning about Beatles lore than I do.
He's gonna get you in some real trouble.
Jack likes the Beatles because he likes symmetry and he owns a Beatle, and so therefore you must also listen to the Beatles.
Oh.
He likes things to be the same. It's a weird brain tick. He got dropped on his head when he was a kid. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, if he likes symmetry, then the Beatles is not for him. Here's why.
Yeah.
Because all the mixes for the Beatles songs, they like only have the vocals on one track.
Yeah.
So if you like take a headphone out,
It's weird.
you're only listening to like the instrumentals.
Yeah, I had an issue with that because so a couple weeks ago I lost an AirPod, and I thought I'd lost all my AirPods, but turns out I found the other AirPod, so now I'm still at one AirPod. But yeah, I was trying to listen to this on one AirPod, and I was like, what? Like, my left ear really enjoys this part.
You're only listening to like the instrumentals, and you're like,
Yeah, it's like
Sgt. Pepper's. A little less lyrics than I'd expect from
honestly,
a Beatles album.
here's the thing. If I hadn't heard some of these songs before, I probably would have assumed that and then came here like, Yeah, man. Just very instrumental, like no words. Great album. Very interesting.
You really would have gotten egg on your face with that one.
Dude,
I
I've
kind of
always
wish
gotten
that
egg
did
on my
happen
face.
just to see what would happen for us like recording the podcast.
What if I told you?
Whoa.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But yeah, man. This is, I don't know. I've been kind of excited for this. This is kind of a genre period of music that I'm aware of, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a big 60s, 70s guy. So, you know, here's the funny thing though. I'm a big 60s, 70s guy, but I feel like I don't listen to the Beatles a lot.
No, I actually historically have been sort of against the Beatles.
Do you like the Beatles?
I like this album.
Okay. But you've been historically against them.
Yes. So just like listening to random stuff, like especially Let It Be is on our work playlist. I don't like Let It Be.
Yeah, it's all right.
All the other stuff, like my sister would listen to some Beatles and I was like, this is okay. I never really got into it, except I Am the Walrus. You ever listen to I Am the Walrus?
I Am the Walrus is a good trip.
Yeah, I like, yeah, and like I have no like connection to like stoner culture or really anything like that.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, but I think I have a lot in common with stoners in that I just like.
You're just brain.
I'm brain dead.
You're
just
brain
like,
dead and chill.
I like stupid, random, nonsensical stuff.
Yeah,
and
I feel that.
I Am the Walrus is like the perfect encapsulation of that.
Yeah. Well, then I think if you like stupid, random, and nonsensical stuff, then I think the Beatles are for you.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I don't think the Beatles like put a ton of thought. I think they just were jamming and they came up with stuff. Like
they were just messing around.
this is like kind of just in a similar vein. It's if jam band music was a little bit more experimental. I mean, jam band music is already kind of experimental, but more experimental, a little less longer, and more for a mainstream audience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this phase of the Beatles was. It was just like, I mean, you see old footage of it, and they're just sitting around smoking doobies and just like playing stuff and being real stupid. Like, these guys weren't trying to like reinvent the wheel here, but they kind of did.
Well, I think with this one, they, at least musically, they were more, because it was inspired by Pet Sounds, which was like a very instrumentally complex album.
Everything connects.
Everything connects.
It's
Well,
all
that's what attracted me to this album was I was like, oh, Pet Sounds. I like Pet Sounds. This was inspired by Pet Sounds.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like this was a time in music where, you know, dudes were just being dudes, you know? Guys were just being guys.
What's that mean?
They were just doing it, man. They were just like, you know, they were just on it, man. They were just trying stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. You know, for a long time, especially like the era that both the Beatles and the Beach Boys came out originally, where they found their success, it was a very, like, it's still good music, but it was very like standard.
Yeah, it was
like here's the norm. You do your doo-wops. You got your nice haircut. You look at the ladies and you get a little wink. Now let's take that away. You're an acid head. You've grown your hair out, and you're gonna start playing with like every instrument that's available to you and put it into one song.
And they started doing stuff where they couldn't perform it live anymore.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine that some of that stuff being performed live.
No,
it's insane.
They had kind of given up on performing live because of some pretty big controversies.
Well, big controversies. They're also like, I don't know, man. I feel like the Beatles were just they were just so big, you know?
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like you can't go anywhere, you know? And that's what Yellow Submarine was kind of written about in the back end, was just, you know, we're all living in a yellow submarine. My submarine just happens to be a multi-million-dollar house that I can't leave because I've got rabid fans.
Well, that was also Fixing a Hole.
Yeah.
Where I think something interesting is he actually didn't mind, at least at the time of writing it, he didn't mind like people coming to his house and visiting, but people were just like hanging out and stalking him.
Yeah, dude. Well, you know, when you're a drug addict, you know, like people come in and out of your house all the time.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. One of the stories that John Lennon told was that this guy came up to his door and said, "Hey, I'm Jesus."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm not going to be the guy who turns Jesus away from my door." So he let him in.
Yeah. Didn't he have another dude that came to his house who was like this really edgy, like military? This might have been the same guy, but this really edgy, like he just got like Vietnam vet, like PTSD riddled, like really, really scary looking dude. And he just like came and lived with John Lennon because he just like walked up into his door. It's like, man, those are different times.
Yeah.
The free love movement, man. It was like, oh yeah, sure, dude. Come and live in my house.
Yeah, that's wild. I thought you were about to tell about a guy who might have read a certain book.
A certain book that we also reviewed.
Yeah,
It's all connected.
everything connects.
Everything leads into everything.
All right, let's see. How does this connect with Mad Max?
So basically, John Lennon. So we talked about the ice cream truck that you drive last week. John Lennon was driving a giant guitar that he also played guitar. So in the Mad Max lore, you know, guitar guy with the flames.
Yeah.
John Lennon has a duel with him, but instead of like the super edgy, like fire and stuff, he like throws flowers out of it and then he starts going and he's like grooving and he's like,
Wow.
"Hey man, gasoline is not the way." And then everybody just like, I mean, it turns into like a festival.
Wow.
And then it all blows up in the end because
This
that's
is
what
incredible.
happens. Yeah.
What was this in? Was this in the album?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Now,
I should have been the Beatles manager. I was like, guys, I've got a movie deal for you. It's like Burning Man, but a lot more violent.
the John Lennon movie.
John Lennon movie as told by Joel. Yeah, man. But you know what though? Here's the thing. I like that these songs kind of don't know what they should be. You know, they don't necessarily feel like they have a specific purpose.
Yeah, they're pretty vague, which I think, in one sense, I really like it because it's really fun.
Yeah,
it explores a ton of fun ideas. They're all just kind of whimsical for some reason, and just vague and out there.
Yeah.
Comparing that to Pet Sounds, I listened to both albums today, and I was kind of thinking through it. Pet Sounds is a lot more grounded.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that made it a lot more relatable and interesting to me.
Yeah.
That being said, Sgt. Pepper's just like judged on its own merits.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun to just have like all these silly ideas around and this vague concepts, vague imagery.
Well, and you got to remember that Pet Sounds kind of comes before Sgt. Pepper's, right? So
yeah.
I think Pet Sounds has its foot in the psychedelic music world, but also its foot into making grounded and structured songs as we know them, right? So there's that kind of cool marriage that makes really good music. And then the Beatles is kind of more just like, whatever you want, man, bird or bee, like do your thing. And that's why it makes great music for like, apparently from what I've heard, smoking pot. And I've just heard this, you know, I don't know anything about this. But apparently it's pretty good because apparently, you know, from what I've heard, you know, it's hard to necessarily focus on a concept specifically when you're smoking pot. So you just kind of like feel the vibe of everything. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah. So that would make sense.
So it makes a lot of sense for this album. And it's like, I don't know. I like that Yellow Submarine is like a children's song, you know?
My man, I'm pretty insistent. I just listened to the album today.
I know, but I also listened to Yellow Submarine, and guess what? There's a lot of crossover.
You were listening to it just anyway?
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Did you just listen to Yellow Submarine on loop all week?
No, I didn't, but I've been thinking about it because it was in the collection of music that was actually in the movie, The Yellow Submarine. They had a lot of Sgt. Pepper's in there.
Yeah.
So I just kind of looped it in.
All right.
Because there's a lot of... If you actually look at the album, a lot of like Sgt. Pepper's is in there. Eleanor Rigby is in there. Like,
have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Me
but there's
neither.
a dude named like Professor Booby PhD.
What?
Yeah, he's a really weird looking fella. Apparently, he's like a dentist and a psychiatrist. Dude, it's a trippy looking movie. And a professor.
Wow.
We should watch it sometime.
I mean, we might as well.
But yeah, man, I like that. I like that this kind of era of music, like, you can like it, you can hate it, but I don't I don't find a strong case to really like it just as much as I don't find a strong case to really hate on it for anything.
So it's just kind of exists.
It just is.
Yeah, I can kind of see that because, in a sense, I really do enjoy this album, but it almost doesn't stick with me.
Yeah.
Like when I'm listening to it, I'm having a great time. You got like that guitar riff at the beginning that's like, whoa, things are about to go, and you just kind of slide into it.
Yeah.
Just kind of enjoy your time with it, and I mean, there's not a lot that is really there to stick with you because it's not profound.
It's not even like with a little bit of help from my friends. I like that song.
It's nice.
It's a nice song, and guess what? It was in a Muppets sketch in their old TV show. I'm a big Muppets
Did
guy.
they say I get high in the Muppets?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Dude, the original Muppet Show was like in the 70s, and Jim Henson could not give a crap. Like, they were high as crap on that show. They had like Confederate flags in the background for certain stuff. It's gnarly,
Wow.
man. I love it.
That's crazy.
It's a weird show, but I like that music. It's just like, it's like running through a field, and it's just like, you just got your mind open and you're just running through a field, and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
And it's not going to stick with you.
It's me and the boys.
It's temporary. It's boys being boys.
Yeah.
But that's a, and even like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club, the actual song in there.
Yeah, it's just a song where they're like pretending to be a different band.
It's like chaotic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's chaotic when you're listening to it, but it's not something you walk away and you're like, I'm going to whistle that tune.
I guess it's not super catchy.
It's not. I've listened to it probably 3 or 4 times last week. I couldn't like whistle it to you right now.
Do it.
I can't.
You can't?
I can't
You're
even
physically
think of the
incapable.
notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think I like it though. I like that it can be whatever you want it to be. And I think that's kind of what they were going for with this.
All right. You wanna know something super interesting? Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds?
Yeah.
Not intentionally about LSD.
Cool.
Sounds fake, right?
Yeah.
Sounds fake, but here's the deal. John Lennon vehemently denied it being about LSD, and he was normally like pretty open about his drug usage.
Well, John Lennon's dead,
Yeah, he's dead. Rest in peace.
so it's not like we can ask him again.
No, because he said apparently like his son drew a picture, and he was like, "This is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds."
Father, this is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
And then he was like, "Oh, that sounds so cool."
Father,
Yeah.
is this song about LSD or is this about my picture?
No.
Father,
No, son. This is about your picture.
No, son.
But here's the secret twist. The son's picture was about LSD.
yeah,
No, he was 5.
yeah. Well, you don't know. That was a weird household.
Yeah,
There was a
that's
lot of
true.
things going on. with
That's
that.
true.
John Lennon wasn't the best father figure around.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a certain line in the album about not being a particularly good guy.
Yeah.
You used to be cruel to my woman.
Yeah, dude.
And
John Lemon, man,
John Lemon.
John Lemon, Paul McCarthy, Ringo Moon, Jim
Ringo-
Henson, all those guys.
Yeah, our favorite band.
But, I think the Beatles are one of those. I like Paul McCartney kind of just fine, I guess. And I kind of like George Harrison. I like some of George Harrison's music, but I think Beatles are one of those things where it's like, just kind of enjoy the music. Don't deep dive into like
who they are.
And the information.
Yeah, I mean it's old enough that it's like,
It doesn't
it
matter
doesn't
anymore.
matter. Like I think normally like a lot of the subject matter this covers is like if they released their music today, I'm sure it would be like all sorts of controversy.
Yeah.
Which I mean there was controversy about them back then, but now it's just like, oh yeah, the Beatles, dude. Like They
Yeah,
existed back then.
I dated a girl who like worshipped John Lennon, like
Oh.
really all about. Like she was like, oh, he was just such a understanding guy, and he came up with, because she's like a wannabe hippie,
Oh, yeah.
hippie type, and it's like. You kind of like show her it's like, hey, he actually like beat women, and then it's like, oh,
Oh no.
oh, I don't love this, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's kind of a buzzkill, isn't
Well,
it?
you watch interviews with him, and he's just like this super peaceful guy, and he's talking about like peace and love. And
So
you're like,
those people
great.
those people there in China, they don't have anything. What, you mean like no possessions? Yeah, they don't have anything. And they have this government and it's all kind of the same. So there's no religion or government? That's from Forrest Gump
oh,
when they're interviewing John Lennon.
I didn't.
Have you seen
I haven't seen Forrest Gump.
Why are we doing this
This is-
podcast?
this is
This is stupid.
this is the
Why
whole-
are we talking about Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band, which is probably the least memorable part of Beatles music? We could be talking about Help.
We could.
But we're talking about this. We could be talking about Forrest. You haven't seen Forrest Gump?
That's the whole point of this show, is that we
Let's
haven't
see
seen
Forrest
crap.
Gump.
That's the whole point of this show.
Apparently, I've seen crap. You haven't seen anything.
I came up with the concept of the show that I haven't seen anything, so I am self-aware.
This
What do you
is
think
stupid.
this is? Do you think this is Experts Before Pearls? Is that what this is?
Apparently,
This is
I'm the
I've seen
expert here.
everything?
There's nothing new for me, but Trent, it's like, oh man, what is this? What is this, a book? What is this, a library?
Okay. On our track record of books, we've covered like 3 books, and I had read more of them before than you by one.
You haven't seen Forrest Gump.
I haven't seen. That's the whole point
What
of the
if
show.
what would happen if you went and ate at Bubba Gum Shrimp Company and they said, you know what? Hey, if you pass the trivia, we'll give your meal free. And it's not cheap to eat there. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Because
you're a loser.
You
You don't even know what the Bubba Gum Shrimp Company is.
I
Okay.
know what Bubba Gum
Okay,
Shrimp
next
Company
week,
is.
Next week,
They exist.
next week, our podcast next week, we're doing Forrest Gump.
Okay, Forrest Gump.
We're
Is
doing
that-
Forrest
is
Gump.
that firm?
I don't even have to watch it. I have the movie memorized.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I just want you to watch it so you're not so ignorant anymore.
Okay,
There
great.
should be ignorant people before pearls, before swine.
That's the whole point of the title. That's the whole point of
Is that
this
why we
show.
call it this?
Yes.
I
Did you
thought we
just
just
forget-
like looked like pigs because of our pinkish hue skin
Oh.
and our general disposition to
Check
eat
this
slop
out.
on a daily basis.
I got pig socks today.
Whoa. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, my mom got them for me for Christmas.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
We should get pig t-shirts.
pig t-shirts. Ooh.
Let's get some like cool, classy pig t-shirts.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's get pig shirts.
Pig shirts for pig show.
Pig shirts for pig show.
Ooh, we should get the old logo as shirts.
I think we could just draw that, friend. I
Just
think
do
we
it.
could just buy white t-shirts and get a Sharpie and do about the same.
But it's about the irony.
I think it'd be funnier if we just had white shirts that said pig show.
Ooh, and we drawn on with marker.
Yeah.
All right.
That wouldn't be bad.
Merch. There you go. We got special
Hey,
merch
and
ideas.
we'll do a shirtless podcast if you subscribe to our Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
No. Don't give them too much.
Just a little teaser.
Just a little teaser.
Yeah.
That's all on our Patreon. Sorry, we
Yeah.
can't show it here on YouTube.
If you're an audio only listener, that's too bad. You're missing out.
All right. So Trent hasn't seen Forrest Gump.
I haven't.
I'm not surprised, but I'm a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we hadn't seen The Godfather. Neither of us had seen The Godfather.
Yeah, but like The Godfather's kind of like your dad's watching a movie with a couple of beers and you don't want to disturb him. Forrest Gump is like it's like American history. It really is. It's like who's our first president? George Foreman. So it's like why wouldn't you watch Forrest Gump? You know, it's like
Yeah, it's
simple.
history.
It's like
That's
national
incredible.
treasure. Anyway,
Except with one dude just doing everything in history.
so you know that. Huh?
I know that. Yeah.
Where did you learn that from? Watchmojo.com?
No, it's just kind of like a meme that like Forrest Gump's just inserted into all this crap in history. I know like the general premise of it because it's a pretty big movie in pop culture,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen like tons of memes about it and stuff.
Mhm.
But
You're such a zoomer.
I'm such a zoomer,
never
but not a
actually
TikTok
done-
zoomer. I'm in the weird, awkward millennial zoomer.
Speaking of
Thing.
TikTok zoomers, you know how I know a song has staying power if it's made its way to TikTok? Is there anything from this album that's made it to TikTok?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you know more about TikTok than me by like
No,
a few miles.
I don't. Eleanor Rigby's on TikTok, but it's not on
You've
this
made
album.
TikToks with millions of views.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thinks that's like an impressive thing about me. Like, I'll tell people and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, oh dude," and I really hate it. Like, I don't like taking pride in that.
That's too bad for you, but it does mean that you know a thing or two more than I do.
No, I don't though. I was just like mashing on a keyboard hoping something would work. And luckily, guys in India really liked watching my TikTok.
I think that's what content creation is.
It really is, isn't it?
Just like throwing stuff against the wall.
Hey,
and
that's
hoping
what
it
we're
works.
doing right now.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe, you guys.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Lucy in the Sky
So
with
tell me more
Diamonds.
about this album. Why do you hate the beat? I mean, why do you like the Beatles?
Oh, why do the Beatles?
How do you spell it? B-E.
Beatles.
Okay, just making sure. Sometimes I
All
get that wrong.
The Beatles.
But yeah, tell me more about this album. I'm sure you have notes prepared.
Notes prepared. Oh,
Lengthy notes.
I gotta think about it.
Okay, dead air then.
Dead air. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's such an open-ended thing. Just tell me about the
Tell
album.
me about the
we already-
Beatles.
we already went over our general impressions for it. So just
Yeah.
an open-ended question like that is kind of tough. Just like tell me something about yourself. It's like at job interviews, you know. Tell me about yourself.
What's
like
your worst personality defect?
my worst personality defect is that you know, I'm not quite as down with the psychedelic stuff in some of the instances of the album.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like it took some getting used to. A lot of the psychedelic aspects of the album I think are a little abrasive
Yeah.
and just like kind of tougher listening that you have to kind of work to enjoy. So I got used to it, but it was a little tougher for me at points.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because you know that music is made for a certain state of mind.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's not
our current vibe.
not our current vibe. And that's what I like about some psychedelic bands is they do a really good job of making it so like even if you're like a sober listener, you can still appreciate it just as much as if you were in outer space.
Yeah. I think like a very similar sort of song to some of the content on this album would be like 9 in the Afternoon by Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
Because it's about being stoned
Yeah.
from what I hear.
From what you hear.
Yeah. And it's just like it sounds like a fun song about just kind of like being chill.
Yeah.
And you can relate to kind of the vague ideas even if you're not
A brain dead, godless stoner.
yeah. But like I mean I do musically really like The Benefit of Mr. Kite,
Yeah.
but it's also like, man, you know, I don't know if I care about anything being said right now. It's just kind of woo.
Just kind of stuff happening.
Yeah, like of course Henry the Horse dances the waltz. Like obviously he's gonna do that.
I think whenever I listen to this album in particular, I feel like I can see the Beatles making this in like the studio whenever I listen to it, and I can just see them just like you can see the producers just going like this, like what is going on, man? And then there's just like, you know, George Harrison's just like naked on the table with like a piccolo, like guys, check this out. Check this lick out. This one's gonna ruin them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like just to reiterate what I said. Like I think there are some songs that hold that. I think there are some bands in that same era that hold that balance really well. I think Pet Sounds is a perfect example
Oh yeah, like
of holding that sound very well, of like waiting in the elevator, kind of going up with whatever song that was. I can't remember.
Let's go away for a while.
Let's go away for a while. You could totally smoke a bowl or whatever, and or just be stone cold sober, and it gives you that same feeling. It's kind of like this euphoria a little bit. It's really nice, and I don't get that as much from like even their like trips. I feel like their psychedelic trips, kind of like what you were saying, it's really harsh. Like it's not
Yeah.
like you can listen to it and it's like, man, even if I was in the mindset for this, I don't think I would enjoy this.
Yeah. I think like the toughest, most abrasive part is the end of the album,
Yeah.
when there's a little pause at the end of the music, and then it's just like this giant wall of oppressive noise
Sound.
that just kind of surprises you.
Wall of sound.
Which is why I generally skip the end of the album.
Yeah, it's like it's all falling on top of you, and it's like, okay,
It's like this is not musically enjoyable.
what would happen if you had like a son and he was like 6? He hasn't heard a lot of music, and you just give him this one, and you're like, "Here you go, kid. Let's get started on some music." Like, no, Mary
There's-
had a little lamb.
It's dishes falling on the floor.
It's literally your brain caving in from all the LSD you've taken in the rock and roll era of the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger disconnects in the album for me is Within You, Without You,
Yeah.
which it's got the spiritualism in it as well. And it's like I don't really relate to any of the ideas being communicated here.
It's just weird.
It's weird.
I get it, but it's just weird.
Yeah.
You
It's not bad. I'm not
No.
gonna skip it, but it just
But I'm
is
not
what it
going to
is.
listen to it while I'm driving to work on a Sunday.
Yeah. At the same time, there are like really solid pop songs on the album.
Yeah.
Getting better all the time.
Yeah.
And in spite of some things in it's also like kind of it's almost the most Pet Sound song on the album.
Yeah.
Which I think it's getting almost obnoxious how much the comparison's coming up at this point. But that's too
Yeah.
bad.
Well, nothing new under the sun,
Yeah.
all that.
True.
Yeah,
But-
and like a little bit of Help With My Friends. That's a good poppy one. You could hear that on the radio,
Oh.
because it's like it's got a nice opening to it, and then kind of ramps up and then it comes down. It doesn't. But man, yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird stuff. It's horrible. We pick like the worst albums to listen to while I'm trying to work a job. I'll just say that. I'll say that about this podcast. There's a lot of things, but giving me music that I enjoy listening to during my work day is off. It's like
Wait,
it's over.
Would you rather that it's music that you don't enjoy listening to?
No, it's mute. I would rather have music that I do enjoy listening to,
Oh.
but something a little less chaotic.
Ooh,
It's
something
the same.
a little less
It's the same
wild.
thing when you're like working, and I'm listening to Kendrick Lamar. My boss is trying to tell me something in one ear, and in the other ear, I'm hearing "This dick ain't free."
And this time it's just general woo. Woo, we're
Dude,
stoned.
I feel like
we're the stoned Beatles.
I feel like I was
Woo.
spaced out the entire time. It's like, what, man?
Maybe that's what I need to listen to at work, because I'm already spaced out. Like maybe if I doubled down, it'd go so far into the negative that I'd just hop into the positive.
Or we could transfer over, and you could listen to some of the music that I normally listen
Yeah?
to at work.
What do you
and then
normally listen to at work?
Man, I like Tyler Childers.
Tyler Childers.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's like a country folk guy.
Oh, yeah, you were showing me a country song earlier. Are you
I
just
was.
on the country vibes?
I'm always on the country vibes.
Okay.
I finally figured out my vibe.
What's your vibe?
I'm like a cosmic cowboy.
Cool. That's
know?
gonna be your vibe for the next month.
That's just like always my vibe.
You're a Cosmic Cowboy. Wait, isn't that just Cowboy Bebop? Are you Cowboy Bebop?
I am Cowboy Bebop.
Is that what's happening? Space Cowboy?
Space Cowboy. So long, Space Cowboy.
So long.
But yeah, man. Weird album to listen to while I'm working, but I don't know. It's fun. It's a good experience. It's
Yeah.
good to like kind of walk through it and see what you see out of it. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best Beatles music out there.
The best Beatles music is I Am the Walrus.
I Am the Walrus,
Goo
or
goo
the one
gachoo.
from The Parent Trap.
What's
Here Comes the Sun.
dude?
Here Comes the
actually,
Sun
that-
is a
that
great
bangs.
song.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Here Comes the Sun. Yes, it's very mainstream, but the Beatles are
the
mainstream.
Beatles are mainstream. You can't escape from
It's
it.
a banger.
Also, there's Joel, you might disagree with this, but I think there's nothing wrong with mainstream.
I think there's everything wrong with mainstream.
Uh,
I think you should have the most specific tastes and the highest standard that can never be obtained. And I think you should be bitter and miserable at anybody for liking anything.
But Joel, my specific taste is I only like things if I know that there are a large number of people enjoying it. If I look on Spotify and see the number of plays is super high, that I enjoy that more than the album. I'll just
can't tell if you're serious.
I'll just look at an artist and see a play or a song that's been played in the millions, and I'll just smile to myself.
Oh boy. And you'll think, I am one. I am one of the hive.
I am
I
one
will
of the
own
many.
nothing and be happy.
I am among the people.
Eat bugs and live in your pod.
Although kind of the original premise of this podcast was like, we're trying to listen to all this stuff or watch all this stuff or take in all the stuff that everybody else is.
Can I psychoanalyze you?
Okay.
Do you want to do this podcast because when you were a kid, you had very niche interests and a niche sense of humor, and
Dude.
now you want to try to like mold more into the mainstream
My-
and be accepted by society?
My favorite movie is Star Wars.
Nobody likes
my
Star Wars.
favorite
But which
my
Star
favorite
Wars
hobby
movie?
is video games. If there was a white guy factory that just like dropped generic white guys into the world, it would have made me. It would just be a bunch of me's coming out of the generic white guy factory. I like Nintendo games. I like pop music. I'm your generic white guy.
That's fair. I don't know. I still think you're very niche.
Yeah. I'm like a weird
I
amalgamation.
can't find people like you though, Trent.
Yeah.
Why is that?
all-
If you're
all
a
of my-
generic white guy.
So all of my surface level traits, right?
Yeah.
Just at the surface level, they're all pretty basic.
Yeah.
But all of my mannerisms and attitudes and speaking habits and thought processes and everything, they're all weird.
Yeah.
So if you have me fill out a basic questionnaire where it's like multiple choice, you'll think this is the most boring guy in the world.
Oh, okay.
But if you like actually talk to me, you'll be like, this is a quirky guy. Woo.
I get it now.
Yeah.
This is the Trent Grauman iceberg.
Yeah.
So here we have surface level. I like Star Wars and I think the Beatles are great. And then down here we have I collect my toenails. And then down here we have in the summer of 2008, I walked to a cabin alone by myself and I saw a bright light and all that stuff, when you were abducted by aliens. So it makes sense
Yeah.
that there's an iceberg.
You know what though? I think younger me would have been really disappointed in myself for liking this album.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know about like the like monkey skull they discovered that's like it's supposed to be like an evolutionary link between like
are you
humans
talking
and
about
monkeys?
Homo erectus?
I don't know. Just
Are you
but-
talking about Lucy or
Yeah,
Homo?
Lucy.
Okay.
Because
Homo
they named Lucy after Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Because the guy was listening to that song.
Really?
Yeah, the guy was listening to that song while he
Is
discovered
this
it.
real?
Yeah, I learned that in like my science class.
You learned that in school?
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You were homeschooled.
Yeah, in homeschool, we didn't even believe that dinosaurs were real. That was just evolutionary nonsense.
So Yeah, that's the story
Face.
of how Lucy was named.
Oh, that's a cool
Yeah, so when I heard that in my science class,
fact checked and based.
Steven thumbs me up. That's
It's a lot better than Homo erectus.
yeah, but when I heard that
I'm
in
gonna
my
say it a couple
class,
more
I was morally appalled. I was like, that guy was listening to a song about LSD. I cannot believe this respected scientist would debase himself with this crass, unacceptable music. Just absolutely disgusting. And now I listen to this album and I'm like, yeah, it's got some drug content, but it's pretty tame.
This degenerate druggie is a scientist
I think
making discoveries.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, what you'd have to
It's
imagine,
kind of a base take, though.
archaeologists are probably stoners. Like that would make sense to me. If you told me like, oh yeah, all of the archaeologists I know are stoners, I'd be like, yeah, dude, that makes sense. I don't know that. It could be false.
Yeah. Well, you go out there and you dig up all these bones, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess is that archaeology or paleontology? Would digging up Lucy
paleontology?
be paleontology?
Man, I'm gonna be the one who gets fact checked in the comments this time.
No worries. I know about this stuff. I went to a dinosaur museum one time.
Oh, good.
But I feel like when you do paleontology, you're just like making stuff up in the sense of like, yes, you find dinosaur bones, but you don't find all of them. So then you cast some. So first of all, you're making fake bones, right? On some of these.
Ooh.
I mean, honestly, if you're a paleontologist, please very kindly don't call me a misogynist. Just fact check me in the comments. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
if you're a paleontologist, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah,
and,
this is a dinosaur podcast now.
Pay our Patreon.
But I feel like they just make it up. Like all the photos of like a T-Rex. How do you know that's what it looks like? How do you know it's not covered in hair?
Oh yeah. Well,
we don't have any skin.
That's the big thing is like they're saying now that dinosaurs had feathers, right?
Well, they've been saying that forever, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm saying they're saying now. But it's like within our lifetime that's been like the prevailing theory, right?
Yeah.
But so the way we imagined them might not be the way they are. So they could be furry for all we know.
Yeah, dude.
Dinosaurs could be furries.
Giant furries. Did I tell you about the time I met a furry?
No.
Okay, before I continue with this story.
This is a wild tangent.
Listen, before I continue with this story, I hope you know that this is in the spirit. Everything, all the sidetracks we're going on, it's in the spirit of Sgt. Pepper's. Because I'm guarantee you, this is exactly what they did to create that mess.
They were just talking about
They were just talking about dinosaurs and the time John Lennon met a furry in college. So I was in community college, ACC.
Yep.
And there was this big boy in one of my communication classes. Like large man, football player size, okay? This guy had some serious girth to him. Anyways, I liked hanging out with him. He's just kind of a soft-spoken guy, very big. But I was just like walking with him out of class one day, and I made an offhanded joke about furries. I was just like, yeah, man, just like furries. And he turns to me, and all serious, this guy is like 6'7", probably weighs 300 pounds, and he's like 300 pounds of just strength. He looks at me, and he's like, I'm a furry. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, I'm a furry. I'm like, no, you're not. He's like, I'm a scalies. I'm like, what the heck is a scalies? He says, it's a lizard species of furries. So this guy dresses up 300 pound. I'm not even kidding you. 6'7", 300-pound man dresses up like a lizard in his free time.
You'll never meet such a based man
I
in your life.
hope he's doing well in his life. It was a big shot.
Me too. I mean, I played competitive Smash Bros, so probably like half the people I played against were furries.
Yeah. But they weren't football player size.
That's true.
Like, what do you do when the guy who's just a linebacker shows up to the furry convention, just throws you over his head?
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of people out there. John Lennon was one of those people.
John Lennon was a furry?
John Lennon was a furry.
Yeah.
No, he was.
Wait.
I'm
No.
just messing with you, dude.
That wasn't even a word back then.
Although, okay, while we're still on the Beatles topic, I did find out this doesn't have anything to do with Sgt. Pepper's, but Lonely Submarine, the Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, the Yellow Submarine.
Did you know that there was a church? There were 40 churches that started after that called the Yellow Submarine churches.
I
And they were-
assume like spiritualist churches.
Yeah,
like
They were
pagan.
like kind of like these cults that basically worship the Beatles and
Nice.
stuff. It's really wild. It's wild out there, man.
Ooh,
Also,
that's not surprising.
potential in the field episode. Speaking of cults, there's a cult up the road, old cult.
Ooh,
We can go visit it. Somebody told me about it in
That-
town.
they're like active.
No, it's abandoned.
Okay, it's like a cult house,
It's like a cult castle church.
cult
thing.
castle church.
Do you
thing.
want to go?
Yeah, let's go. Is it legal to go into it?
Who
Hey,
knows?
If there are any
Trent tries jail for the first
if there
time.
are any cops listening, that was a joke. For any of our fans though who aren't cops, things are about to get real. Next
Yeah.
in the field episode.
We're gonna go look for John Lennon in the ghost castle up on the hill.
John Lennon.
John Lennon, I brought a book of Catcher in the Rye. Did you want to read it or just?
Is that you? No, it's the police. Put your hands in the air.
Do you think he ever read Catcher in the Rye?
I don't know. Who knew that it'd be the book that killed him?
Well, kind of related.
While
to it.
while we're on wild tangents.
Yeah.
My-
John.
the first
How do you spell
time
lemon? Yeah, go for it.
Lenin.
Lemon.
Lemon.
Yes.
Lemon.
What were you saying?
So
Though?
the first time I ever heard the name John Lennon was I was playing modded Star Wars Battlefront 2. And I would just download tons and tons of random custom made maps. And one of them was this weird stoner map where everything was just super trippy and you could play as Jedi John Lennon. And I was like, why is this Lenin?
Ringo.
Is this Lenin like the communist in Russia, but it was actually the British communist.
Use the Force, Ringo.
Yeah. So
This was
My-
Battlefront 2.
this was Battlefront 2, a Star Wars mod with just John Lennon in it, and
That's really cool.
yeah.
Oh man,
Boop.
the Beatles.
The Beatles. Hey,
Hey,
guess what?
what?
You just listened to one of the greatest albums of all time, but I'm not going to ask you any questions about it.
Cool.
Cool.
Who said this was one of the greatest?
It's actually the old Rolling Stones
Is
number
it on
one.
the Nasdaq? This is the number one on the.
The old list.
This
yeah.
is the number one.
Yeah, it got dropped down to like 16 in the new list.
Ugh, this is number one.
Yeah, it's one of the consensus goats. Yeah.
This is fine, man, but number one.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hear me playing this at my bar mitzvah anytime soon.
Is that the?
No, thank you. I will stick to Lizzo. Thank you very much.
I don't think,
Number one.
I don't think Lizzo made it on the list. She might
Lizzo's
have.
not on the list.
I mean, she might be at like
with that
490.
iconic line, "Why men gotta be great till they gotta be grape."
That is pretty iconic.
Number one. Come on,
Yeah.
Rolling Stone.
Okay, now all the Beatles stands are coming for you.
I hope they
Can
are.
you-
John Lennon.
Can you imagine if
Do you realize how much Sgt. Pepper's helped me through depression? I hate you.
Can you imagine if the Beatles and
This
the
is just
Taylor
because you're an
stands
internalized
hate you?
misogynist.
Yeah.
Can I imagine what?
If Beatles and Taylor stands hated you,
Dude.
they'll come to your house and kill you.
You know what? I was thinking about Taylor stands before he came over while I
Oh,
was in
yeah?
the shower, and
You're
I started
still
getting
really hurt.
I was starting to get mad. I was like, here's how I would fight them if I ever. But you know what? I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Oh wow.
I'm not capable of taking that heat.
Yeah, you're not capable.
It'd really suck if it was like, Joel, why'd you backslide so much in your life? And it's like, well,
Taylor
Taylor
stans
Swift
ruined your life.
fans ruined my life, and now
Yeah.
I'm a drug addict.
That's just what happens.
You know, you can't make anybody happy.
Well, you could make Taylor stands happy. You just have to agree with them.
I like Taylor Swift's music pre-2013.
That's too bad,
Is
buddy.
that not good enough?
Nope, that's not good enough. You have to like.
I really, really, really like Mean. It helped me through a hard time in my life.
If you don't like,
I listened to it with the utmost childlike sincerity.
if you don't like Reputation, you're a piece of garbage.
I like country music, Taylor Swift, okie shucksy doo. Okay, why are we talking about this? This is just gonna get me in hot water.
Yeah. Well,
Next thing you know, this is the intro.
they're not gonna come to this episode. They only want to hear us talk about Taylor.
Yeah, this is not about Taylor Swift. This
is
about John Lennon.
I wonder if any of them stuck around.
I hope so. Maybe one saw something
Welcome.
redeemable in us.
If you're still here from the Taylor Swift episode and you liked her and you were upset but you stuck around, subscribe to our Patreon, baby.
Yeah,
Give us that money.
Yeah, you know what? That's exclusive content on our Patreon.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not rich enough.
Our definitely real Patreon.
Our real ass Patreon.
Hey, if you would give us money on Patreon, comment so that we know we can start selling out.
Oh man.
By the way, this episode is sponsored by MeUndies.
Is it really?
No.
We don't do anything here.
I trick you at the end of like every episode. I said that we were reviewing Star Wars movies for the next 3 episodes, and you believed me. We could,
dude.
Do you want to make a Star Wars
listen.
podcast?
I'm gonna get us a sponsor right now.
Okay.
Dear MeUndies, I own one pair of underwear. I'm a Slav and I live in a slob. I'm also a Slav and I live in a trailer. I own one pair of underwear and it's currently losing some of its structure and falling apart. So, great sponsor. I will shout you out every single day because I'll use your products because I'm poor.
Yeah, and I'll tell funny stories about your product that aren't true.
Yeah, funny stories like, oh man, I was out camping and this coyote bit my undies. Good thing they were MeUndies and they looked like hot dogs. I'm an adult man and I wear underwear with hot dogs on it, you child.
Incredible.
Do you still, real quick, before we leave, do you still wear underwear with like things on them? Or do you just wear plain ass underwear?
So here's what I do, Joel.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
This is a
listen to
multi-tiered
me.
question.
I almost never buy clothing. I receive all of it in Christmas presents, including my underwear.
Okay.
So
what is on that?
Like probably 5 of my pairs of underwear have fun things on it. Out of like 30.
Why? What does that do for you? What does that?
I don't know. I'm wearing clothing that I got for free, Joel. Do you not understand that?
But how does that make you feel inside when you see T-Rexes on your undies and then you go to a job interview as a 25-year-old man trying to be respectable?
It feels great. You know what, Joel? I'll let you know. This is a core part of my identity. I am of a specific heritage that my family insists that if it's for free, it's for me.
Okay.
Yep. Don't say anything about it.
Hava Nagila.
Don't say anything about it. Cancel, Joel. You're done.
Yeah, go ahead and cancel me.
Yeah.
When do you graduate to whitey tighties as a man?
Hopefully never.
No, I think I might.
You might?
I think I might.
I don't. It sits in the wrong parts of your body, you know? It just doesn't feel good.
I just think they're fun.
I hope Steven just cuts us out in the middle of this conversation at the end of the episode.
Anyways, yes, thank you, MeUndies. You can find our custom babe underwear, MeUndies. Next week, we're going to be talking about Forrest Gump.
Cool. Forrest Gump.
Stupid is as stupid does.
And I'm stupid.
Trent's very stupid. So thanks for this wild ride of Pig Show.
Yeah.
Trent, did you like it? I don't even care anymore.
I like this album.
Liked it.
I chose this album because I like it.
You chose it. It's good.
Yeah, it's
I'll
good.
I'll give it a corn dog out of 2.
I'll give it a billion on the density scale.
Yes.
All right. We love you.
Corn dogs.
Enjoy the music as we fade out. Is that what the music sounds like?
No, it's like...
Give the audience a kiss, Joel.